So, hi everybody, Dacob here. Welcome back to the Twin Peaks. What are we doing this? What are we doing this? Oh my God, I'm so tired. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Episode 12, Season 3, Twin Peaks: The Return. Um, Let's Rock is the title. I just finished watching it, and now we're gonna talk about it. But I have a problem here because I don't see the chat again. So, hi everybody. Oh, there's 5 people already watching us, so hello. I will try to figure this out again. Stupid live stream, so annoying always. Alrighty, okay, I have the chats. Eileen the Queen, hey, 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 how you doing, sweetie? Melinda Cooper says, hey, how you doing, Melinda? Ryan, let's rock. Hi, Ryan. Invisible Girl 422, aka Debbie. Hi, Dacob. Hi, Eileen. Hi, Debbie. How you doing, sweetie? Gary Branham. What's up? What's up to you too? Penelope's uncle. Hey there. Hi, Penelope's uncle. So, guys, so let's rock. I'm super exhausted. First of all, for who follows me on my channel, I haven't been posting videos lately. There's a reason for that. I'm exhausted. There's a lot happening. And also today, I was at a special place, like a concert outdoors, and I filmed. And I will be posting that as soon as I finish editing it and as soon as it gets confirmed by the person who was actually singing and performing that everything is good to go. So I can't wait to share with you an amazing vlog. Anybody, hi everybody, anybody. Anyway, hi everybody. I have my little cards here. Let's start immediately because there's so much to talk about. I mean, okay. Of course, I'm gonna, have to say it, spoilers ahead. So if you haven't watched episode 12 of Twin Peaks: The Return, please do watch it before I ruin it for you here. Let's just say, oh, Gary says, howdy y'all. Penelope's uncle says, are you going to do back to school videos? No. Should I? Do you want me to do back to school videos? I ain't going back to school anytime soon. So, but anyway, okay, I'm gonna say it here. You've been warned. Audrey is back, and that's all I'm gonna say for now. So we have the initiation of Tammy Preston, as I like to call it. Very sweet, very cute, and Tammy, of course, accepts immediately. Gordon asks her, okay, do you want to, Gordon and Albert ask her, okay, do you want to, be a part of the Blue Rose cases? And she's like, yes, of course. Oh my God, amazing. Going up the ladder of this career at the FBI. Now, when Diane walks in, I've noticed she walks through a red curtain, very much reminiscent of the red room in the Black Lodge. And, I'm thinking, is it a premonition, or is it something? Are they telling us Diane actually was already in the red room, and this is kind of showing us again? It's kind of just showing. It's hinting at it that she was maybe already in the red room, or is it a premonition of the future? Maybe she's going to end up in the red room sooner or later, or again this doppelganger situation going on, which I'm not so sure about anymore. That Diane is her own doppelganger, but you never know, right? And then how Albert and Gordon kind of give her the wine and she pours the wine. Was that a test? They want to see how she's pouring the wine or not, with what hand. I don't know how quickly or slowly she was doing that. I don't know. But that's interesting that Diane actually is the one who delivers the title of the episode in this episode, which is Let's Rock. So when they ask Diane to temporarily join the forces of the FBI in the Blue Rose case in particular, she says, what's in it for me? They said there's very little money, but whatever. You can get to find out what happens to Coop for real, or what happened to Coop. And then she says, let's rock, which is, you know, the little man from another place from the red room again. So we have Diane entering through the red curtain, and then she says, let's rock. To me, it's a lot of symbols. It's a lot of things that are too close to the Black Lodge for this not to be a very clear hint from Lynch and Frost to us. Now, is it a red herring? Maybe, but worth mentioning and noticing. Eileen says, I know, Audrey. Invisible Girl says, lots of red. Every woman had some shade on. Yes, shade literally and a shade. And does everyone have visual, or is it my device? I think the others have visual, Eileen. Then we have Jerry Horne runs out of the forest. So Jerry has exited the forest using both of his legs. So I guess he reconciled with his leg, or he might be running away from his leg out of the forest. Sarah Palmer. Finally, we have the liquor scene, which was a scene that we've seen in the previews of Twin Peaks before the first episode aired. So finally, I got to see that scene and in its expanded and full form. And Sarah Palmer is kooky. She is, for me and to me, till now, definitely the scariest character of all of the characters in Twin Peaks. Really, Sarah Palmer is scarier to me than Evil Coop, to be honest with you. She just has that look in her eye. It's insane. It's you know, it's super scary. Gary says, I heard as Diane walked into the room, she walked by white and black chairs. Ah, there you go. Angela Silver. Hi, Dacob. Hi, Angela, sweetie. How you doing? I finally caught you live. Yes, finally we get to chat live. How you doing, sweetie? I hope you're doing well. And Melinda says Sarah's losing it. Well, girl, I think Sarah lost it already a couple of times. And she's trying to keep her shit together. But so what happens in the liquor store? Again, very symptomatic of split personalities and all of these doppelganger situations. I'm not saying Sarah has her own doppelganger, but split personality for sure, because the woman starts talking to herself. You know, she starts talking to herself. Now, okay, let's just say this. So she's looking at the beef jerky and the turkey jerky, and she says, okay, there was beef jerky before, but was this new, the turkey jerky? So it's kind of like a double beef jerky, and all of a sudden there's a different character. There was beef jerky, now there's an addition. There's a totally different type of jerky, and kind of right after that, she goes into this weird state where we witness kind of the beef jerky Sarah, and then we have the turkey jerky Sarah, because she literally goes bananas, leaves the place, and talks to herself and says, you know, as if like another personality was in her saying, don't say this, Sarah, don't do this, Sarah, you know, just walk out, Sarah. So that was very, very scary. And, you know, I mean, she has those eyes that she can be very scary. So those two jerkies are kind of symptomatic of her split personality as well. Split personality, I'm just saying split personality, not that she necessarily is. Maybe she's a victim of something going on in the house. We're going to get to the Palmer house in a minute. But, you know, maybe she's a victim of something, and hence she's in that position where she cannot say anything because she thinks that if she says something, she might get hurt, or people that she loves, whoever's left alive that she might love, might get hurt. So we don't really know what this split kind of characterization of her own personality is due to yet. Invisible Girl says, who was in the kitchen? Yeah, we're going to get to the Palmer House kitchen in a minute. Gary Branham, she's been through a lot and obviously has visions. Are we sure it's visions, though? Because somebody was in her kitchen, and Hawk heard the sounds coming from Sarah's kitchen as well. So it wasn't just her vision kind of, you know, hearing stuff that is not there. So beef jerky, turkey jerky, and the price she had to pay was $133.70. And you know, this is like, as I wrote down the number, the amount that she had to pay, I told myself, like, Dacob, why are you doing this? It's like, again, Lynch and Frost messing with your mind, thinking a number is so important. But they did kind of keep the camera on that number for a long time. And then I don't know if this means anything or not, but whatever. Moving on. I wrote down. Oh no, I didn't yet. Okay, so what does Sarah say to young kids before she freaks out? She says, "Your room seems different. Men are coming." And is that room that Laura Palmer was in? Is mentioning it in the term Laura having, you know, from Walk With Me, the painting or the photo painting of the room with the wallpaper that we saw in episode 11, in the warp, the black hole where Gordon kind of looks into it and sees the woodsman, and behind them, like the open door with something that's like a wallpaper from Walk With Me, from a photo that Laura Palmer got. So, oh my God, so complicated. But says your room seems different. Does she imply in some way that we're still talking about that room from Palmer's painting photo? I don't know, but one of the two young kids, and I felt that it was a warning and a premonition, and it has to do with all of those people that were all the young kids, the youth of Twin Peaks, that's being kind of covered by evil. You know, it's so complicated and painful. So the kids are really bad times. So I'm thinking to myself, maybe this has to do with the fact that, you know, that Sarah knows and feels something going on, and she's kind of warning that something is. Maybe. Then we go to Las Vegas just for a nanosecond. Thank goodness. I'm really not a fan of the Las Vegas. And then we see a shadow of a bird flying over the roof of a house, May Dougie's house. And that shadow bird might have been an owl, or been just a fortunate coincidence while they were filming that a bird flew over and they just kept that shadow. So is it an owl for the house or not? We don't know. And then we see Dougie playing, you know, with his son just for a second. It's like, it's as if Lynch is telling us, okay, it's a pause, taking a break from that. I don't know. And then we're back to Twin Peaks again. This entire episode was in fact in Twin Peaks. Old school music kicks in, the one love, the one that tells us danger up ahead, as Hawk goes to the Laura Palmer house. And this is where, you know, we finally see we finally see the Palmer house, and we see actually, again, Sarah's even creepier now, but she has a different outfit on. She changed clothes. Well, she took her jacket off, so I'm not so sure, but she seems more composed, as if she took some pill or something. And yet she lies to Hawk about nobody being in her house, but Hawk heard something in the kitchen. Gary says, I was meaning in the earlier season, Sarah saw things connected to Laura and Bob. Yes, she did. She's very sensitive, and I think that she still is, and she still sees things happening, for sure. For sure, she's extremely sensitive that way. And I'm in some way or form, she is connected to the lodges, whether they be black or white. Okay, then we see Miriam in the hospital. That already in the last episode, in episode 11, when Miriam kind of exited, like creeping on the floor of the woods, out of the woods, it gave me this Ronette Pulaski vibes of this kind of survivor woman victim, because also, you know, Miriam lived in this trailer, in this little tiny trailer that, you know, Ronette was attacked in a train wagon, kind of, but trailer-esque. And then there was an appearance of an angel that freed Ronette in a way, that allowed her to escape from Bob. And we see a little tiny kind of doll, garden angel, puppet or ceramic angel kind of sculpture in front of the house of Miriam. So I don't know. That's something fascinating too. Atlan, how you doing, sweetie? Atlan says, 133 is 7. And the total is 14. So, yeah, I know. We don't know really. But anyway, so I had these Ronette Pulaski vibes last episode. And then this episode, even more so, because she's laying in a hospital bed in a Twin Peaks hospital, semi or fully comatose. I guess semi-comatose, because, I mean, I don't know. But, I mean, how would Frank Truman know that Richard attacked her if she didn't say that Richard attacked her? Because Frank knows that Richard attacked her. In fact, Frank goes to Benjamin Horne and asks if Benjamin Horne could pay for the operation costs for Miriam. So I guess she's either just sleeping in that scene, or I don't know who told the cops. If she is comatose, I don't know who told the cops that Richard actually tried to kill her. Right, what else did I notice here? Diane. Okay, then we have a scene of Diane is still texting with the mystery man about Las Vegas. And of course, soon after that, I was expecting Albert to go to Gordon Cole and tell him that indeed another text was sent between Diane and this mystery person. And the mystery person is like, Las Vegas, what about Las Vegas? And then, she says, they haven't asked me yet about Las Vegas. So it's kind of weird. Diane is very sure to be a couple of steps ahead of Gordon Cole and Albert. But at the same time, Gordon Cole thinks to be a couple of steps ahead of Diane. They're both very thick-headed, because Gordon Cole, at a certain point, he says, what do we know that we haven't asked Diane? He implies in that sentence that they know something, like that. He implies that they know everything she knows. He implies in that sentence that they know everything she knows. But I have a sneaky suspicion that maybe Gordon Cole doesn't know everything that Diane knows, or not just yet. But she's also very sure of herself too. So it's a very complicated situation. Benjamin Horne and Truman talk about Richard. Richard killed the little boy, so they know that. So of course Miriam probably told them, unless some other witness didn't come up to say that. Benjamin will pay for Miriam's hospital surgery. Now Benjamin talks to his secretary du jour and says, that boy, speaking of Richard, and we have another confirmation that Benjamin Horne is the grandfather of Richard. Benjamin says, that boy has never been right. Now, that boy has never been right can imply a lot of things. That boy was never in his right mind. That boy was never really a correct person. Or that boy has never been right in the term of he never fit within the family as a son of Audrey would. And the most important thing, what he said, was that Richard never had a father. Now, does he mean by that that actually Audrey was really molested while she was in a coma by Mr. C, or is this another red herring by Lynch and Frost to make us think that, when indeed maybe Benjamin, all he wanted to say was never had a father in the meaning of the father abandoned the child. We know who the father is, but the father abandoned the child. The child grew up without a father. Hence, the father was always absent. In fact, Benjamin does mention his bicycle that his father gave him, like the presence of the caring, protective father in a weird way. And that could have been lacking in Richard's life. So it could mean two things. It could mean that they never figured out who Richard's father was in the first place, or that Richard had a dad and they knew who he was, but he left really early on. So that's something to think about as well. Benjamin shows Frank Truman the room 315 key from the Great Northern from the 90s, when Cooper stayed in the room and he said, would you like to give it to Harry? Benjamin obviously knows that Harry's very ill as well, and he said, maybe as a memento, just give it to him because he might like it and appreciate it. Let me stop for a second and see what you guys are writing. The brand, okay, so Melu Marsa, how you doing, sweetie? The brand on turkey jerky was that weird symbol. Look at the packaging. Okay, so what was the symbol? Talalai 99, how you doing, sweetie? The grocery store boy was in the kitchen where Sarah is keeping him chained up. Ooh, yes. That's good. Oh my God. So, okay. Aside from Sarah Palmer's scenes, I was really hoping for more from this episode. Talalai99 says, yes, I was hoping, but we're going to get to that. I'm going to talk about that too. Uh, Eileen fixed her tech issues. She's ready to rock. Great. Melu Marsa, hello Melinda. Nick Solan, hi, how are you? How you doing, sweetie? The polyester pimp. There you go. Hi, polyester pimp. How you doing? Talalai says, does anyone think these Roadhouse scenes at the end are just totally random or have relevance? Yeah, I'm also like, we'll get to that too because that's at the end. Forever Fragrant Kid, how you doing, sweetie? Sorry I'm late. Don't worry, all good. Ryan, yes, I think the Roadhouse scenes are a snapshot of the town of Twin Peaks. Yeah, I see that too in that way. Atlan says, well, 14 in numerology means cosmic debt. It means to tread carefully in whatever they choose to do in life because actions have far more reaching consequences. So I'm trying to plug this in. I mean, you never know. With it could totally mean this or something totally different. You know how he is. He likes to boggle the mind. Ryan says, I thought the symbol was a bull's head in a circle. I kind of thought so too on the beef jerky, but now I'm not sure anymore. Talai says, thanks, Dacob. Thank you, sweetie. Milu Marsa, Laura's mother flips out when she sees the symbol on the turkey jerky. Rewind and look at packaging. Girl, if I rewind now, internet is going to collapse. So either somebody tells me what it is exactly, or I'm going to have to do it after I finish broadcasting. So back to the rundown of the episode. So at this point, we have Truman and Harry. Well, Harry's not there, and Benjamin seems to know that Harry's very ill. So we get the key given to Frank. Frank tells Benjamin, well, where we reopened the Cooper case. And then at that point, I noted on my little paper here, nobody mentioned Audrey in the Benjamin office scene. WTF, that's my comment. Because I thought to myself, if Frank is talking about Richard to Benjamin, why do they not mention Audrey? And at that point, I really started thinking Audrey maybe really did kick the bucket. But we're going to get to that in a minute, of course. Okay, so now we have Gordon Cole in the hotel room with a huge waste of time. I know that he likes these kind of gimmicky moments. And we have this with a hooker. So she looked like a hooker, girl from France. It reminds me of a more modelly version of Isabella Rossellini. Isabella Rossellini is Italian. Nevertheless, the hair of that girl, I don't know. There was something Isabella Rossellini-esque about her, which I liked. But I didn't like the prolonged kind of when he sends her away and she's like putting her dress down. Everything is super slow. She's being very objectified. Anyway, she leaves and then, Gordon tries to make the joke about the turnips. And then Albert doesn't, Albert is not having it. Neither was I that moment. I really felt for Albert. And then Albert tells the text message, Las Vegas story about Diane. And then Gordon tells us that sentence. What do we know that we haven't asked Diane about yet? It's fascinating how in that sentence he really implies that they know more than she does. He's so sure of himself. But he shouldn't be, I think. I think he shouldn't be. Warden gets shot by a Hutch or Tim Roth, and Chantal is still eating her Cheetos or whatever she's eating. That was a quick scene. Another, we saw it coming. 2 shots to the neck and the back of the head and the neck, and that was it. Ryan says, I would have to look again about the beef jerky. Melinda says, oh my God, I was thinking Isabel too. For a Fragrant Kid, I got so impatient with that scene. I wanted Albert to yell or something. Yeah, me too, totally. But then when Gordon Cole tells him, I'm worried about you, Albert, it almost felt like David Lynch was saying that, to Miguel Ferrer because he was ill and kind of dying. I don't know. It felt surreal because it was kind of acted, but also real because we know now that, Miguel is unfortunately, may he rest in peace, has passed away. Debbie says that scene was too long. I know Lynch loves to do those things, but at this point in episode 12, I'm just getting a bit annoyed by certain things because I just want to kind of move along a little bit. And I have the feeling when these longer scenes happen, I can't fully enjoy them at the moment because I'm just like, I want to know where we're going to. I don't need to know all the answers. I love the mystery. They could keep the mystery alive forever. I never need to know if Cooper becomes Cooper again or whatever, you know? But I just need things to move. Either add more mystery or something, but don't add these kind of scenes, which I will enjoy a lot in the future after the 18 episodes have aired and after I've seen them 100 times each. Then I'm going to enjoy so much these kind of scenes that for now seem like weird fillers and time-consuming monsters. But I know I'm going to enjoy these a lot in the future. But right now, I just don't want them. I'm nervous. I don't have the time for it, you know? Bad for me, because I should just take my time and enjoy them, but I just can't at the moment. But I will in the future. So the warden got shot. Then we got Jacoby, Dr. Amp, and finally we also have Nadine, my favorite character from Twin Peaks. Nadine talked, and she says, "It's working for me, Dr. Amp," shoveling herself out of the shite that is the world. And basically after the Jacoby scene and after this weird, again, and this was even more bad in my personal opinion than the scene with the French hooker, whatever you want to call her, in Gordon Cole's room, and then that kind of turnip joke. What was even more kind of annoying to me was to re-see the Dr. Amp commercial advertisement for his shit-digging shovels. I mean, did they shoot it twice? I don't even know. I would have to go back to the original episode where it first aired to see if he literally utilized the same shot again, which I think he did, because Jacoby kind of plays that commercial. He pushes the button and the commercial kind of just plays into his live stream. So, you know what I mean? I was like, why again? But whatever. Maybe there was a slight alteration there, but I don't know. And then after Dr. Amp, and this kind of concept that we got to shovel ourselves out of the shit, bam, in total silence, out of the blue, Audrey appears, standing still, almost like a profile image of her. And she's wearing the same sweater that she wore in the Entertainment Weekly photo shoot. So I thought to myself, is this the only thing she's going to wear? Are we really going to see her playing in that one night within the Twin Peaks storyline? Is something going to happen to her? But this was a crazy scene. But you know what? I think we should get to Audrey at the end, because I have a lot to say about that, and I don't want to waste too much time on it right now, because I'm going to waste a lot of time on it in a second. But what happens after the Audrey scene? We're in the Roadhouse, or the Bang Bang Bar. Call it as you wish. Both are legit in my personal opinion, because have you seen Cal MacLachlan at one of the interviews he did during Comic-Con? He didn't even call it the Row House. Even Cal MacLachlan called it, he didn't even call it the Bang Bang Bar. He said like the Bang Bang Joint or something like that. So anyway, moving on. But Audrey does call it the Roadhouse. So we are in the Roadhouse finally. And here, okay, I wrote down these names, and this was also really irritating. So Chuck said, no, that's so. Okay, well, before the Roadhouse, we have Diane at the hotel bar one last time. She looks for a location on the coordinates, on a map, on some sort of Google search version of Twin Peaks. And she finds that the coordinates lead to the town of Twin Peaks. And then she's like surprised, because she knew Cooper ended up in Twin Peaks. Of course, he was sending her the tapes. He was talking to her while he was in Twin Peaks in the 90s. Then we have the Roadhouse, the Chromatics return. This time the Chromatics are not singing. It's, you know, just instrumental in a way, even though the lady's kind of waving like a ghost and she's present. And there we have Angela is missing. She might be with Clark, but Clark is with Mary. And Trick joins the girls in the Roadhouse, and somebody almost ran him over on his way there in a car. So I'm thinking, was it Richard that ran him over? Was it Billy that ran him over? who ran him over, who, I mean, didn't run him over, but almost ran him over, I wonder. And that's the end, basically. We have, you know, the end credits rolling. So again, one last thing before I get to Audrey. The only kind of really positive, beautiful moment was Carl Rod. Carl Rod, you know, stopping one of his kind of inhabitants of the trailer park. And that was kind of genuine goodness of heart when he tells the guy, I've heard you've given blood, don't give blood. You cleaned this and did that around here, here's $50. You know, you should not give your blood for food. And that was very caring and loving and giving. And that was kind of the only really moment of this episode that gave me hope. You might say that, you know, Gordon Cole and Albert inviting Tammy into the Blue Rose kind of files and world is also full of hope. But I didn't feel like it was very hopeful, because before they did that, before they invited her, they told her, of the 4 agents involved in this situation, 3 have disappeared, so we need a new one. So you might disappear too. So it was kind of not really hopeful to me. It felt more like, Tammy, you're in deep shit. You're in danger now, more than you ever thought you were. So the Carl Rod scene where he gives this guy the money and this guy kind of has difficulties walking, it was very touching, very, very heartwarming and heartbreaking at the same time. That was the only touch of humanity in this episode. And now let's talk about Audrey. But okay, let me first read your comments, because I've analyzed basically the whole episode except for Audrey. Laura's mother flips when she sees the symbol on turkey jerky. Okay, reminded, look, yeah, we read that. Talalai says the Isabella scene was so annoying. Yeah, the Isabella, but that wasn't Isabella Rossellini. It was another actress, but she looked like Isabella Rossellini. Forever Fragrant Kid says, I love Albert. I love him too, to pieces. He's just so cool, calm, and collected, and loving in his own kooky way. Melinda, first thing I thought of with French Girl, that she looks like Isabella Rossellini, right? Melo Mars, a French Girl, long but Lynchish, very Lynchish, and we're gonna love it in the future. Forever Fragrant Kid says, yes, I teared up. And Melinda says, yeah, I teared up too. Oh, for the blood, the Carl Rod scene. Yeah, if that's the scene you teared up for, it was very, very emotional. Eileen said, I actually thought that scene was comical, but I don't know what scene we're talking about. But anyway, I don't know if you're talking about the blood giving scene or the actual scene in Gordon Cole's bedroom. Talalai says, anyone else get the impression people of Twin Peaks are being possessed by inhabitants of the Black Lodge? Would explain the strange behavior going on. Yes, there is speculation that that is going on. In some way, I think these spirits are all over the place, but not really like entering other human bodies. Maybe it's just an energy in the air, just negative energy that kind of permeates everything and influences people's reactions and people's behavior. So it doesn't have to necessarily mean that the woodsmen or other spirits of the Black Lodge are actually inhabiting human beings, but there's definitely that electricity that the log lady mentioned in the last episode of kind of fading and dying and a different sort of maybe black fire kicking in. There's definitely something going on. There's a negative force there more than a positive. That's obvious, that's for sure. You don't need to be even too analytical to figure that one out. It's like so obvious that there's so much negativity in the city at the moment. Forever Fragrant Kid says, Talala, you make some good points. I totally agree. Talala says, thanks, Forever Fragrant. I'm just so frustrated at the lack of answers. I'm desperately trying to figure it out. You're right, Dacob. I think it was the same shot again to indicate the timeline has gone back again. Yeah. Oh, you think we're going really back in time? I thought it was like just he aired it again, like it's another day. You know, the only way we can really figure this out, if we have to check out Nadine's milkshake or whatever she's drinking, if it's the same color, the same amount, consistency. Does she wear the same clothes that she wore when we saw her first time and second time watching Dr. Jacoby as Mr. Amp or Dr. Amp, because we have like 3 scenes of Nadine watching him already. So I would have to check out if she's wearing the same clothes and drinking the same amount, like within the container of the drink that she's drinking. Fragrance Kid says, we are all waiting for those answers, so I feel ya. I yelled Audrey when I saw her. I opened my eyes like this and I was like, I stopped breathing for a second when Audrey appeared, but we're going to get to her in a minute. Talalai99 said, so much red in this episode, from curtains to dresses, the lodge is spilling into reality. Well, that's a very poetic way of putting it, dear. I agree with you completely, Talalai. Actually, it's a very, very beautiful way to put it. The lodge is spilling into reality, guys. This is beautifully put. I couldn't have said it better myself. Forever Fragrant Kid said, yes, I noticed that too, Talalai. And Isabella with her lipstick, yeah. That was such a sweet scene. Eileen says, I liked that part. Jeez, they're going, oh my God, guys. You're amazing. I love the comments. They're going too fast. I like that part where he waived the rent too. Yeah, when Carl Roth said, you don't have to pay the rent this month. It was super touching. That was the only touch of humanity in this episode, for real. Ryan says, I thought the contrast between Diane and Tammy's reaction to being brought into the Blue Rose group was interesting. Oh yes, of course. One was like light and one was dark. Lightness, we have the sun, and we have the night and the darkness. Ryan also says, I felt Tammy was too excited. Remember, in the hero's journey, the hero always first rejects the call. Yeah, it's true. She has an ego going on there. Tammy was definitely like, as I said in the beginning of this live chat here, I said, it definitely felt like she's climbing. It felt like she's showing us that she's appreciating the fact that she's climbing up this career ladder. Melinda says, Tammy seemed scared and music started. Nick Solan, Audrey looks beautiful. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Now I get your name finally because I read it out loud. Jesus Christ. Oh my God. This dude looks like the biggest beta male ever. Are you talking about me? Thank you so much for the amazing compliment. I could not have said it better myself. Jesus Christ. Melinda says, yes, Nick, Audrey's still gorgeous. Fair Fragrant Kid, the Albert and Lynch moment. Talalai99, lol, I know it's not Isabella Rossellini. She is way older now, but I'm sure it was deliberate from Lynch as they used to be married. Oh, of course. And we know that Isabella was supposed to be in Twin Peaks, the first season. Melinda says, no, the Albert because he passed on. Because he passed on. That's why I felt like Lynch was, Gordon Cole said to Albert, I'm worried for you, but it felt like Lynch was telling it to Miguel Ferrer. Nick Solan says, yes. No, Melinda, still Audrey looks gorgeous. Eileen the Queen, Cole, and French Girl, lol. Melinda is so confused about the Audrey scene, as am I. That's why we're going to get to it right after I finish reading your comments. Talalai says, be nice, Jesus. Beta males are cool. Girl. All the spam I have to deal with and trolling, this has been actually a compliment today, all things considered. Oh, Jesus Christ says he loves Bernie Sanders. Yes, Jesus Christ, I love Bernie Sanders too. Ryan says, I was a bit disappointed with Sherilyn Fenn's acting. I thought her husband outperformed her. Jesus Christ says, I appreciate Audrey very much, and I would never objectify her. She still looks good, even after years. Good. Simon do, hey Dacob, nice to see you here. Hi Simon, how you doing, sweetie? These glasses look good on you, by the way. But what is Twin Peaks about you always talk about? Don't laugh. Well, you should check out Twin Peaks. It's a beautiful show. All right, so basically let's talk about Audrey Horne for a second here. I do agree that Audrey was a little bit Ryan, you're right. Sherilyn Fenn, I felt like she wasn't acting very well. But honestly, let's think about this for a second. I think that the point is this. Lynch built up this expectation of Audrey in 12 episodes. And we're like thinking, when is she gonna come? When is she gonna come? We're expecting everything out of it, you know, and then finally she comes, and it's such a weird scene. And we're overwhelmed because we're seeing her and we're not getting, because all of us had our ideas, what had happened to her, how she would turn out to be, what it would be like to see her, what the plot line would be involving her. And we got something, yet again, totally unexpected, something we never thought we would get from David Lynch. And so we kind of, our initial reaction, I think it's spontaneously and naturally, oh, we're disappointed about her acting. But I think, if you think about it, let's let it sink in. Let's watch it again in a couple of days. I think we're going to come to the conclusion that actually she acted it very well, considering her own expectations too. I don't know if she was happy with her role or not. I have no clue. It's too early in the game to say at this point, because we don't know if we're going to see her in other episodes, what's going down. Fact is, she's together with Charlie is his name, right? And I have no clue, guys, what's going down with Charlie. Is he a lawyer? What is he, an accountant of sorts? But he definitely has some physical disability. That's obvious. We see it in the movement of his body. And he seems to be a little person. I'm not so sure about that, but, you know, could be the case. And if that is the case, then, you know, we had Ike the Spike, and then now we have Charlie. Again, all of these kind of callbacks to the little man from another place. But Charlie, you know, we figure out in this short scene, well, not that short scene, that they are married, that they have an agreement. It's not really love. It's something else. So, you know what I mean? I don't know. Talalai says, Audrey seemed to be playing the part of the audience tonight. Come on, get on with it. What you're not gonna effing tell me. That is so true. Talalai, oh my God, you mind blown again. You're so right. It does totally, yeah, it feels like Audrey was playing our part. But, you know, again, we're talking about Charlie, and then we find out that Audrey's having an affair with Billy, or at least she says she's having an affair with Billy, and she wants to know where Billy is. He's been missing for 2 days. Now, when she first mentioned Billy, she didn't say that she was having an affair with him. So I thought Billy was her way of calling Richard, like, but then I thought, no, Richard, what's a diminutive for Richard? Bob. No, not even. Richie, I don't know. So I thought, could Billy be, you know, but then of course when she said that she's having sex with him, I was like, okay, so Billy is her lover. And then she said she has this contract with Charlie. They're not in love, but they have a contract, and she wants to know where Billy is. And then Billy's been missing for 2 days. She wants to go to the roadhouse. Charlie looks at her, and then he says we should call Tina. Who is Tina? I ask myself. Tina, I mean, she has a husband. Charlie calls Tina. What does Tina say? He doesn't want to tell Audrey what Tina is telling him. Interesting that Audrey mentions at a certain point when she discusses with him kind of the fact that she wants papers signed. Maybe she wants a divorce. I don't know what's going down there, but she says, let's call a spade to Charlie. And you know what that means? Remember Nadine saying to Ed in season 2, when she's leaving him for Mike, she's like, Ed, let's call a spade a spade. And it's interesting that the Audrey scene happens right after the Nadine scene with Dr. Amp. You know what I mean? So we had Nadine with Dr. Amp, and she says, it's working for me, Dr. Amp. And then we have Audrey saying, let's call a spade a spade. Now, I know it's just a terminology used a lot in English, but it's fascinating that we get let's call a spade twice in Twin Peaks, and once was by Nadine, season 2, and now Audrey in season 3. Chuck said Tina was last to see Billy. Then we have the stolen truck. Now, the stolen truck, was that the truck that Richard was driving when he killed the kid? In which case, Deputy Andy would have spoken to either Chuck or Billy, one of the two, about the truck, and then Chuck or Billy, I can't remember which one of the two, or maybe it was a totally third person, never really met with Andy again. And so Andy, you know, something went down, and we never saw how that scene ended. And we always presumed that Richard would have killed that person with the truck, but maybe we have this Chuck and Billy situation going on. No clue. But then Charlie calls Tina, and then Tina talks, and then he doesn't want to tell Audrey what is going on. I was expecting everything from Audrey, from the Audrey scene, except what we were given. She never mentioned Richard. She never mentions her father. We don't even know where she is at the moment. Is this an office inside of the Great Northern Hotel? Is she even, I mean, does she have her home, or is she in the house of this other guy? They never showed her legs. At one point I thought to myself, maybe Audrey doesn't have the bottom, very boxing Helena, maybe Audrey doesn't have the bottom part of her body, but then she moved. She moved in a way, like she stomped her foot when she was stressed and nerved about what was going on. So even if the camera didn't pan down, I had the feeling, okay, she has legs. Maybe she has a wooden leg, because we don't know how she came out of the explosion in season 2. But it was a very, very weird scene. Why did Lynch and Mark decide to show Audrey for the first time in episode 12, and then to show her in that way? Totally kind of extrapolated from anything else that has to do with Twin Peaks from the first 11 episodes of season 3. Why give her such an abstract presence? Why give her almost a futile presence? Because really it felt like it led to nothing. And I felt sorry. I don't know for who. I didn't feel sorry for her, because I felt like, you know, Sherilyn Fenn, I mean, always delivers, but also Audrey has this strong persona and strong character that she just steals the show anyway. And I was super happy to see one of the girls back. You know, we haven't seen Donna, we haven't seen, well, Laura. We've seen Laura in the Red Room, but I mean, she's officially till now, as far as we know or think, she's dead. So yes, so let's read a couple of the commenters. I managed to shift upwards. Eileen says, I wanted to bop Charlie on the head when he didn't tell Audrey about the phone call. Maybe he did, we just, you know, Lynch just didn't show it to us yet. You know, maybe that scene was even longer. And maybe we're going to see a snippet of it in the future. Telai99 says, interesting that Ben never thinks to get in touch with Audrey about Richard. I'm sure the two are estranged beyond repair. It's very likely. Very, very, very likely. Debbie says, it felt forced, but it was Audrey. Talalai99 says, Dick is short for Richard. And Bob for Robert, right? Talalai says, nice joining of the dots there, Dacob. I guess Audrey's going to have to shovel her way out of the shite herself. Brian says, yes, I thought Billy was the guy Andy talked to. And in the double R scene, didn't the guy come in and say, has anyone seen Billy? Yeah, I think that's what happens there. Debbie says, so much confusion. Melinda says, yes, so confused. Fragrance says, yes, Ryan. Dalalai99 says, Ryan is right. Billy has been offed by Richard. Ryan says, I think we can be sure that shovel will be used in some significant way. You know, I made a video a couple of weeks ago, like my theory on Dr. Amp's shovel and Laura Palmer. Now, it's a very, maybe totally silly theory, but probably not going to happen. But interesting to think about. I said to myself, oh, Pink Hornet, sorry I'm late. I have only just finished watching the episode. Hi, Pink Hornet, how are you doing, sweetie? Welcome, welcome. I thought to myself, oh, why is he spray painting the shovel in gold? And then like he guarantees us it's 2 coats of gold guaranteed. 2. We have this 2 again, like double personality or second layer of something. And I thought to myself, maybe this shovel will be used to dig out Laura Palmer's corpse. Nobody ever mentioned the graveyard. Nobody ever goes to Laura Palmer's tombstone or to Laura Palmer's grave. You know, maybe these shovels are being prepped or prepared or used in some way or form by Jacoby, who, let's not forget, he was in love with Laura Palmer, obsessed with her in many ways. Maybe this shovel will come back as some sort of weird, I don't know, but then again, it wouldn't be too Lynch. It would be too obviously horror movie-esque to dig out a grave. That's not very Lynch, is it? But I just kept thinking about this shovel of gold, and then I don't know, they dig out the grave. But the thing is, like, I thought they're not going to dig out the bones of Laura. They're going to dig out the grave, and they're going to find that it's empty. That was the theory I kind of had, but who knows? Talalai says, would love to know what was going through Diane's mind when the coordinates she searched brought up Twin Peaks. I'm sure she started connecting the dots for herself, if she hasn't by now, and I thought that she had, but at this point I don't know how to judge Diane anymore. I still think she's good, but I don't know how to judge her intelligence anymore. I think she started connecting the dots in respect to Cooper having a doppelganger and maybe even a third Cooper. Ryan says, the only thing that came to mind with the golden shovel is that they are traditionally used to break ground on a building project. Right, but that's more like capitalist, kind of our engineer society. But let's think about the aspect of tools, like tools used by ancient civilizations that were made of gold. Tools that could have been used for any sort of thing, building a hut, pyramids, I don't know, furniture, whatever. And I'm thinking to myself, what tools could there be from the past, and what sort of meaning or religious or ritualistic occult meaning could they, you know, have, other than this kind of usage in our modern day society of golden shovels to break ground on a building project. But the shovel is important because didn't we have the shovel scene in black and white with Benjamin Horne or his father? Like, you know, when Benjamin is kind of crying, going all crazy in season 2, or was it end of season 1? And he has he plays the 16, I don't know if it was a 16 millimeter or 8 millimeter movie. There was a shovel there as well, like kind of the initiation of building the Great Northern or something like that. That's the usage of a shovel that I remember from the past in Twin Peaks. I don't know if anybody hit anybody else in the head with a shovel in season 1 or 2. I can't remember. I don't think so, though. Talalai says to Ryan, maybe Sheriff Truman and the boys are going to use a shovel to put some soil in their pockets when they go to Jack Rabbit's palace. Okay. You think they're going to use the gold shovel from Jacoby? Is that going to have some sort of symbology? Because I think Major Briggs would have kind of left some sort of clue to using the shovels, I think, if it were the case. I don't know. Eileen the Queen says, I think Diane is good. She just doesn't have any loyalties. Right. But so in our world, not having loyalties, does that mean that we're good, or does that mean that we're bad? To me, not having any loyalties doesn't necessarily mean you're a good person. It actually means the opposite, in my book at least. I don't know. SPF 50, how you doing, sweetie? The second half of the episode was kind of frustrating. I kind of hate the Roadhouse now. Yeah, I'm also annoyed by it. It doesn't bring me much. But I have to say, this episode flew by quickly because I was really looking at every second of it, trying to figure stuff out. But also, I guess I got frustrated by it a little bit because it made me analyze things, and I don't want to analyze things, really. I know we're analyzing stuff now, but I just want to fall into Twin Peaks. I want to fall into it and lose myself in it. And this episode did not allow me, or maybe it's my fault, maybe I didn't allow myself to fall into it and lose myself. I felt like, oh, okay, I'm spending my time, I'm not falling into it. I'm kind of out of it, but observing. The only kind of shimmer of falling into it that I had was with Sarah Palmer, her scenes, because she can be ghostly and otherworldly to a degree where I shut myself out of the equation completely and I just fall into her. So that was a moment when I felt, I'm falling into Twin Peaks. But the other moments, I was being very analytical of them, like naturally. I didn't stop, and that didn't really feel right. So that, in that respect, this episode for me was very different from episode 11. I can't tell you if it was better or worse than episode 11. They're different. I respect them. I appreciate them for different reasons. But this episode definitely left me a bit more. I mean, I'm happy that we were almost like 99% of the time only in Twin Peaks. That was beautiful. And yet I felt estranged. It wasn't my Twin Peaks anymore. It was like, in my mind, I'm still living in the Twin Peaks from 25 years ago. And this is another Twin Peaks. That's another town. So I felt really weird. SPF 50 says, I don't get the idea of random people at Roadhouse taking up last few minutes. Yeah, it's a bit too repetitive in a way, and it just doesn't conclude anything for now. But maybe these are all the characters that are being introduced to us that are going to be core characters in season 4. I don't know. Hint, hint. And then SPF 50 says, I mean, I liked it, but I didn't. LOL. Greetings, by the way. Greetings to you too. I suspect next week we'll finally make big moves. I think we made big moves this week too, in a way, and all the pieces of the puzzle are falling into place. We are getting answers with every episode. We're getting more and more answers. Pink Hornet says, Sarah Palmer has something going on. Does she ever? Talalai99 says, it was a very dragged episode, Dacob. It's almost like Lynch gets off unscrewing with our expectations. In a way. But again, mind you, I have the impression that it's also us, and we're getting very nervous. But I think we have to chill and really realize that given some distance from now, when we actually have seen all 18 episodes and then go back to the Twin Peaks, The Return, in a couple of months' time or years or whatever. I'm definitely the type of person who watches the entire Twin Peaks a couple of times a year. So I'm going to love these scenes that seem so dragged out now. I'm going to love them later. It's as if I'm already now I'm putting aside special things for later. Like, I'm collecting the fruits now. I'm not eating them up yet. I'm not enjoying them now. I'm preparing my jams and marmalades for later because I'm not paying too much attention to these prolonged scenes that Lynch does that don't seem to take us anywhere, because once I figured out the plot line, once I figured out the quick scenes, once I figured out what's going down, what did he want to tell us at the end of the 18 episodes, then I'm going to be very happy that I have collected that marmalade in jars of marmalade and jam, because I'm going to go back to Twin Peaks, and then I will finally be free from this being nervous and stressed about wanting and needing to know more. And then I'm going to start enjoying exactly those scenes that seem like they don't tell much, but they're so relaxing to watch. You know what I mean? I hope I was clear about this. I don't know, marmalade and jam and Twin Peaks and all that jazz. Lynch sometimes can be self-indulgent, let's be real, SK50 says, at expense of a flow or narrative. Yes, true. Pink Hornet, maybe Twin Peaks isn't the same for the residents anymore either. The past is a foreign country. They do things differently there. That's a quote. SPF 50. Yeah, ultimately, you gotta just go with it, but the random Roadhouse scenes, I doubt will ever mean a lot to me. It's too random. I'm not invested in Roadhouse strangers, and I know they're not gonna return. We never know if they're gonna return or not. We never know. Ryan says, I see you shiver with anticipation. Yeah, you prolonged the message. Exactly. Talalai 99. LOL. I'm just super impatient because so much intrigue. Um, and then Talalai says, I see what you did there. I think we will enjoy this. Listen, also, you know, I know the name evades me. I even made a video on her. From season 2, when James leaves Twin Peaks, and what's the name of the lady that he kind of falls? I doesn't fall in love with her, but has an affair with, and then they try to kill him. Oh my God, what's her name? I even made an analysis of all the clothes she wore with her jacquard red dress and kind of the Dolce & Gabbana looking 90s stuff. Anyway, so after, you know, watching all of Twin Peaks, I kind of went back to those scenes and I enjoyed that subplot of James, but I could only enjoy it after seeing all of Twin Peaks. Then I could go back to that and kind of enjoy the ideas and thoughts and options, possibilities that that plotline could have delivered. SPF 50 says, I think Lynch is using Roadhouse as an experimental space to play out these random non sequiturs. Possible. Pink Hornet says, I think Lynch wants us to experience it rather than worry about the narrative drive. Just my thought. It's a deliberate artistic choice with purpose rather than indulgent. Yeah, also could be. SPF 50 says, not into it, kinda Inland Empire. I loved Inland Empire. Lacey, hi sweetie, how you doing? I miss you so much. How you doing, love? Oh, Lacey, hello, sweetie. Lacey's doing 100 days of makeup challenge. It's incredible. This lady is talented beyond belief. Every day, a total new look. I am so proud of her. Debbie says, yes, it will be great to binge watch after the season is done. Oh, totally. I'm going to binge watch the shit out of that show after it's done. I'm already binge watching every episode over and over again. Could you imagine when all 18 are out? Pink Hornet says, I think whoever ran Trick off the road will be important. I suspect it will be the evil Coop. Ooh, you think he's already all the way there in Twin Peaks? So you think Mr. C is in Twin Peaks already? Interesting. Talalai says, Pink Hornet, it's like the actual town of Twin Peaks has become increasingly sickly in the last 25 years. Totally feels that way to me too. Pink Hornet says, agreed. SPF 50 says, Inland is hard to watch, and I adore Lynch. Of course Inland Empire is hard to watch. Of course it is. I don't know if I met one person or two that have said that they do not find it hard to watch Inland Empire. It is hard to watch. It doesn't it doesn't give us the type of beauty, the type of narrative, and the type of logic that we're used to usually getting. So it blocks us off. It switches too much. It uses some aesthetical choices that might have back then when it came out, might have appeared to us to be maybe cheap and lazy. But I don't think they are. You know, now, I don't know. I love Inland Empire, even though I'm not the person that's going to watch it every year. You know, I might watch it once every 3 years just to kind of refresh my memory. And I have to admit, I know this is bad to admit, but it's bad to do. But I do kind of like, through some scenes, I tend to fast forward. This is awful, I know, but with Inland Empire, I kind of tend to do that. Like if I miss a certain scene and I want to relive it, I would kind of fast forward to that particular point in time. And SP50 says Inland Empire is also too long. Right? It's very long, but what is too long? Everything is relative. Lacey says, I actually did a look dedicated to you. Sorry, I will pay attention to your stream now. You did? Oh my God. When did you? I didn't see it. Oh yeah, I'm gonna have to check your Instagram as soon as I'm done here. Or is the look dedicated to me coming up soon? Super curious. Well, I'm really bad with makeup though. I don't know if you did a look inspired by or dedicated to. Maybe is it the Mina thing? Well, we don't know. Okay, I'm not gonna say. SP50 says it's cool, but I prefer a strong narrative. I totally get you. I prefer a strong narrative too, but I think Lynch, maybe for Inland Empire, he really went. I mean, no limitations in terms of using celluloid film. You're shooting digital, and you have that freedom in a way, you know? And it's like, wow. And he was excited like a kid, almost like experimental in you know, university, and he just was experimenting with Inland Empire. And I think we have to appreciate Empire for what it is. Inland Empire is definitely an incredible experiment, you know, and it's beautiful that it made it to DVDs, Blu-rays, to the cinema, whatever, no matter how much it flopped or not. It's incredible that an endeavor of that kind ends up being distributed. I think that alone is incredible as far as Inland Empire is concerned. SP50 says he was depressed and angry during half of it. David Lynch, you mean? Or who do you mean was depressed through half of it? Lacey says, tomorrow, you're posting it tomorrow, can't wait. And Forever Fragrant Kid also says, can't wait to see it, Lacey. SP50 says, that doc is on YouTube. If you've not seen it, it explains a lot. Glad he tried it, but it's not a good way to make movies. I see what you mean. I see what you mean. I think it's cool, but if it's strong narrative. I mean, it literally was an experiment. He wrote it as he went. By the way, it's shown in Lynch. Okay, I see what you mean. Listen, it feels that way. It feels experimental. And in fact, I think he acknowledged that it was an experiment as well, because he didn't make something like that ever after. So I think he got the message, you know, from himself as well as from criticisms. Yes. Okay. Well, now we shifted from episode 12 to Inland Empire. So, guys, I think we can end it at this here because it's been over an hour already. Thank you so much for tuning in. It was incredible to talk to everybody, to see all the love and all the incredible comments. And all of you have like so many deep thoughts and ideas, and everybody's idea is slightly different from one another, which is so beautiful. It just like shows the color, you know, of all personalities that we have. And that's what's so fascinating to me. I don't think there's a right theory and a wrong theory when it comes to things, when it comes to art in general. And to me, Twin Peaks is art. And I think what is fascinating about it is the fact that the mystery keeps going on, and that the mystery should be the thing that lives on forever. And we're just kind of giving that mystery certain palettes and colors with our thoughts and impressions. And that's what makes Twin Peaks so beautiful to me. And that's why this entire community that we are sharing right here, right now, is so beautiful to me, because I see all of these colors when I talk to you guys. And that just like warms my heart completely. So thank you so much, everybody. I will see you next week for sure. So stay tuned for that. I'm looking forward to spending more time with you guys. Lacey says, oh my God, your jacket is so Twin Peaks. Yes, it's the red room, my dear. I wear it on purpose. It's my red room jacket. It's red on the inside, but it's reversible. And we have the red room floor on the outside. Spooky and kooky. Good night, everybody. I love you so much, and I'm looking forward to seeing you all very, very soon. If you wish to follow me for more videos, Twin Peaks and not Twin Peaks related, my channel is here on YouTube. So if you haven't already but wish to, please consider subscribing. Also check out my Instagram profile, Super Dacob, all spelled together, as well as my Twitter, Super Dacob, spelled together. And from time to time, I'm on Snapchat too. So the owls are not what they seem. In fact, this owl is not what it seems. It's a tissue box. I cry when I watch. I'm drying my glass. I cry when I watch Twin Peaks. So guys, love you so much. See you soon. Take care, everybody. Good night. Good night, Lacey. Good night, Melinda. Good night, everybody. Bye.